Sounds good.
Okay. Yes, now we are recording. Let's wait a little bit more, like 2 or 3 minutes, and let's start.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Oh, Michael. Michael is here. Let me. Michael joined us. Yes. Michael Henderson. Hello, Michael.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you doing?
Good, Igor. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again.
Yes, sir. And great to see the team.
Yes, yes, we are here with the bosses.
Yeah, cool. I like that.
That's good. That's good. We are going to wait a little bit more, Martin, to let you know as well. Like 2 minutes, and then we are going to start.
Excellent. And so this will be a informative webinar where we get to learn some things about what we've gotten ourselves into.
Yes, yes, and Michael and Matt, we are going to show the Vicidial integration stuff that it will be very informative and very good. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. I've invited Alex too, so hopefully he'll be here soon. If I don't see him, I'm going to track him down.
That's good. That's good. To let you know, Michael Carlisle and Matt Pearl, Michael Henderson is deploying the comp to integrate with his Vicidial. So yes, we are talking a little bit.
Yeah, it's very nice to see your faces. We're excited about the team. We're excited about the opportunity. I know Alex, obviously, he's our technical guy. He's really fired up about what this can do and learning more about it. So yeah, we're real pleased we got on board and looking forward to seeing what we can do with it.
That's good. That's good. Thank you.
Thank you too.
So
I'm
let's
mute and find Alex. I'll be quiet.
Yes, for sure, for sure. So let's start, and people are going to join, and yeah, and we are recording, so no problem, no problem at all. So let me change here the screen. So Michael, Matt, thank you for joining the presentation. Thank you for joining the the webinar that's going to be recorded. So it's a pleasure to have you here. We are trying to figure out this like for more than a year for sure. And I thank you for the Vicidial partnership with Khomp, because it's very important for us to have this partnership, and for the Vicidial community as well. We have deploying a lot of features, thinking about the Vicidial community, thinking about everything that can help to enhance the contactability, to delivering the contact. So yes, this is very important for us. It's a great moment, and we are going to let it recorded and share with the community after. Okay. So thank you. First of all, thank you, Matt. Thank Michael for your very valuable participation.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So we are going to start talking about a little bit about Khomp, because Khomp is let me allow Alex here to join us. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about Khomp. Khomp's it's a company very focused on R&D. So our R&D is like a 27 years old R&D, very experienced here in Brazil, where we are based, in Florianópolis, South Brazil. So we are very focused on voice, on communications, on connectivity. So this is very important to us. It's what we know about the market. It's based on the connectivity, based on the communication. So we are worldwide recognized for the open source community, since we planned the external boards for the asterisk and free switch communities in 1996. So it's very important to us, the open source community. And we are present with the AI AMD in more than 50 countries. So we have our representatives, our integrators, which are the Vicidial integrators as well, the service partners as well, to deploy the Vicidial integration with Khomp. It's very important to have it, and to rely on the Vicidial integrators, like we have here some integrators here during this conference, this live conferencing. So the company is focused on voice community, connectivity, and scalable and multi-tenant scenarios. What does it mean? The solutions are thought about and planned to have a multi-tenant scenarios, and these multi-tenant scenarios are very specific for an integrator or a provider or a carrier deliver the solution in a multi-tenant way. You can have your own Khomp server installed on your contact center, on your BPO, but you can provide, as an integrator, you as a carrier, you can provide the solutions as a multi-tenant solutions, okay? And we are part of the Intelbras group. Intelbras group is a large group here in Brazil for the technologies, for the communications. It's a company listed on the Brazilian stock market and much bigger than Khomp. So Intelbras has like a 75% of Khomp. It's very important to have their support, And yes, this is a picture of Khomp that we have here. So Khomp is like our headquarters in Brazil. So we are a company, just Khomp. We are a company of 300 people working here, and more than a half of the company is based on engineering and development. So we are a development company. Okay. So why do I have to think about Khomp when I would like to enhance the contactability, the performance of my Vicidial solution? Why do I think about Khomp instead to use the embedded AMD from the Asterisk? The AMD from Asterisk is based on some technologies that are very traditional, that are very oriented to signals and tones and some frequencies, and they are not very appropriate to some challenges that the carriers require to have some great accuracy. Michael maybe can talk a little bit more about the AMD embedded on the Vicidial. Am I right?
Yeah, it's actually even more simplified than that. The built-in Asterisk answering machine detection is literally just listening for sound and silence. Sound it considers a word, and silence it considers, well, silence. So it is counting the number of words, and based off of a few parameters, including like the initial amount of silence, the number of words spoken, stuff like that, it determines whether it's an answering machine or not. There's very little like frequency processing or anything like that. So it's based off of technology that, if I'm not mistaken, was developed by Dialogic in the 1980s to run in hardware on their hardware cards. That's it. So it's literally listening for just sound versus no sound. And it assumes that sound is a word. So if you're, for instance, connect through to something that's just playing a beep tone every few seconds, those beeps are considered words. So it does a really bad job of determining whether or not somebody is actually talking or if it's something else. And on top of that, it's listening for patterns and that sort of thing. And it takes a long time. And by long, I mean between 3 to 5 seconds. Uh, and it's very inaccurate. So, for instance, if you answer your phone with, "Hello, this is Michael. How can I help you today?" Like a lot of businesses will have trained their employees to answer the phone. The built-in Vicidial answering machine detection, and it's asterisk answering machine detection, I should say, uh, will determine that that person is actually an answering machine and treat them as an answering machine. So it's really not sophisticated at all in comparison to Khomp's solution, which, as I'm sure Igor will point out, is very sophisticated.
Yes, yes, it's a sophisticated solution. I'm going to show why we develop it,
Mhm.
because there are some challenges that we are facing. We are from Brazil, so Brazil it's like a, a very big BPO market, and the carriers here in Brazil are very they put some very important and very challenging scenarios for us. So to have to attend these challenging scenarios regarding to the accuracy, regarding to the audio patterns, regarding to the billing itself, regarding to release the channel, we studied a lot. So our AMD actually uh, has more than 10 years of development. And currently, we are on the third version, the third major version of our AMD, you know, which we have embedded an AI, an artificial intelligence that I'm going to share with you. But yes, the traditional AMD or CPD, you know, call progress detection, call progress analysis, the traditional AMD is very simple. It's a very simple technology that is based to attend some specific requirements from the 80s and 90s, when the PSTN, when the carriers were not uh, so challenging scenarios, and the voicemails were not so customized as we have today, you
Yep.
know. So yes, yes, this is the major thing. Thanks for sharing, Michael.
Yep.
So turning back to the presentation, why do I have to change for a great accuracy AMD like the Khomp AI AMD? When we say AI AMD, it's basically because we have the artificial intelligence embedded on the AMD, and I'm going to explain on the next slide of this presentation. But the benchmarks are very important, because once you have like 80% of accuracy on the traditional AMD, I mean the embedded AMD on Vicidial, that can work for certain scenarios, but for most demanding scenarios, it shouldn't work. You know, so we have the commitment to deliver more than 98% of the for accuracy for the connected calls to the agents. I mean, uh, on the opposite way, the agent lost their times, like a 20% of their day, they lost the time just listening for noise, for voicemail, for silence, for a muted attendance. Once we have at least nine, the maximum 2% of these calls will be muted calls, silence, or voicemails or carrier's message when you have comp. So we decreased from 20-30% when you have the traditional AMD to just 2% of this loss of time. So this is a very great amount, you know. And we have a pre-connect mechanism, and where we say the early media. So the SIP early media is very important for us, because we can detect before the call is connected to the agent, sorry, to the customer, we can detect at least 50% of the calls that is going to result on a carrier's message, the carriers tell to us, okay, I'm going to connect our standard voicemail. Are you sure that you are intending to connect this with your agent? They said it was over the SIP early media, the SIP 181 and SIP 183. So we are able to detect the SIP early media before the call is connected to the customer. So we avoid to annoy the customer, firstly, and we, for a lot of carriers, we avoid the billing because there are some carriers, I think the most of the carriers in the United States and worldwide, that not charge you when you don't have the 200 OK connection from the customer side. So it represents a real saving for your campaigns, for your predictive dialers. This is a very important point because it helps on the accuracy and it helps on the saving on the other side. And there are some false positives mitigation as well, because the false positives are a very annoying situation for the customer side. When you have the false positive, it's when you have, for example, the customer attendance and the AMD, for example, the traditional AMD just hang up the call on the customer attendance. So it's a very boring situation. So we avoid this kind of situation more than 80%. So this is very important too, because of the customer satisfaction, you know? And we do everything in less than 3 seconds, you know? And we release the channel in less than 3 seconds. And this is very important situation. This is very important information because you can maximize the usage of your channels, not just the Khomp channels, but your carrier's channels as well. So you can save money by asking for your carriers to minimize the number of channels that are going to be needed, you know, and to, you know, and minimize the dialing ratio as well, because you can dial less to get some great results, the same number of great contacts with your customers as well, you know. So it's a operations optimization, you know. So to be very it's a very important information. We don't have just an answering machine detection, because the answering machines are just voicemails, carriers message, invalid number messages. No, we can detect, furthermore, we can detect the silence, the muted calls answering, the noisily answering, and this is very important thing to be considered, because all of these other types of calls beyond the answering machines are unproductive calls. So we avoid the unproductive calls as well. And these cells of a spreadsheet that I put on the side represents the auditing mechanism that we deliver to check the accuracy of the system. Each deployment that we do, we make an accuracy checking in order to make sure for the customers that we are reaching what we are promising, you know, and the results are delivered. And there are some different ways to make the call classifications. I said we have the pre-connect when we analyze the SIP early media, the 181 and 183, to save money. But when we don't get the answer from the carrier, and or when the carrier just simply doesn't say to us that we are going to have a voicemail as a result, for example, a customized voicemail or any other type of message, answering machine message or a noise or something like this, we are going to the post-connect analysis. And the post-connect analysis is very important to us as well, because in there, we are going to listen the first seconds of the call, up to the first 3 seconds. The biggest part of the case, we are not going to use the 3 seconds. We are going to use 1 second, 2 seconds, or a little bit more. So for this analysis after the call attendance, I mean on the post-connect, what we have here, we have the AI mechanism acting, because we are going to have the audio patterns. They are the same mechanisms that are used for from the Shazam application, or the Google application, or the Siri application. I mean, the audio recognition and the comparison to previous learnings got from the machine learning mechanism that we make. So the machine learning mechanism is not a legend that you have to avoid. No, we made it to make it simple, to let you by yourselves to make the machine learning and to update the tool in order to get all of the new patterns that your new carriers or existing carriers can be changed. So the auditing recognize the audio patterns and segregate the clustering. So this is this part. So basically, the first step is to enable the auditing, and the auditing will recognize the first 3 seconds of thousands of calls, and will clusterize the types of the calls got. So your work is just going to listen not all of the calls on the same group, aggruppated on the same group, but just listen 1, 2 calls of the specific group and say, okay, it was a voicemail. Let's classify each this specific pattern as a voicemail. This was, for example, an invalid number message. Let's classify this kind of call as invalid number message, and so on. So for each type of group, like 30 groups, 40 groups that usually the mechanism recognizes, you are going to say what is the call, and it will be reported over API to the Vicidial when Vicidial requests. So this is the mechanism, Sorry. And when you are going to have the update, you are going to have the neural network update as well. So the neural network is, we say, the global patterns, So we already have the previous learnings from the United States customers, for example. We already have the previous learnings for the US customers that we apply for the new customers. So it's getting smarter for each deployment that we make, and we have it for more than 50 countries already. So we have it for Pakistan, we have it for India, we have it for United Kingdom, we have it for Brazil, any Latin America country. You already have some countries in Europe, Asia, Australia. So we have it ready, So basically, we report the unproductive calls when the Vicidial asks for it. And when the Vicidial asks for it, we return over the API, and basically over the Vicidial interface, we are going to set up directly on there. If you have, for example, the same project, Vicidial and another dialer to migrate to Vicidial, we can do the same thing as well. But the way that we interact for the other dialers is over SIP, a little bit more complicated. On the Vicidial, you can make all of the steps of recognition directly on the Vicidial. It's the only partner that we allows to make it. And this is very important for us. And it, thanks to the Vicidial work as well, for the Michael and Matt work. So with these informations, we have the real-time data regarding to the call analysis, to the AMD. I mean, the call data regarding to the AMD what we have here, we have, for example, this customer for a specific day, more than a million and a half of calls, and the average time of response, the specific type of answering machines, because for each type of answering machine, you can have different decisions and for different campaigns. For example, let's suppose I have a billing campaign and a sales campaign. Maybe for a billing campaign, I would like to leave a message over the voicemails. But maybe for a sales campaign, I would like to just disconnect the call when I detect a voicemail. So it's up to you. You can do it per campaign. And you can see the performance per region, per Vicidial server, per carrier, and you can see the carrier's connection. You can see the network effectiveness ratio. You can see the caps, I mean, the traffic measure, the call attempts per second. You can see the average call duration. You can see everything on this tool. But specifically for the answering machine detection, there is another very important data that are frequently are very forgotten. Is very forgotten from the customers, which is, okay, I already have the call classified, the call analyzed, and the tool detected as a human. Okay, this is a great thing. Okay, a human. But sometimes the human attendance takes a lot of time to be attended by the agents, And the reason of this is because sometimes the customer just simply forget about to turn off the traditional AMD. You can have just one AMD mechanism at a time, or you choose the Khomp AMD, or you choose the traditional AMD, And if you have both AMDs, it can occur that the call will take a lot of time and will be less accurate to deliver to the agents. Another thing that we can observe here is the call dialing ratio. The call dialing ratio is very important because if we have a lot of human connections, I mean the customer connections, these customer connections have to be an agent on the other side to attend these calls. So you have to assign enough number of agents to attend the human attendance. So if you have a great time, a great number of agents, and you have your network working properly, the average time by response time will be the less as possible. I mean, after a human being detected, this time will be the less as possible, which is desired. And the total time to wait for an agent from the customer side. I mean, if I was a customer, for example, how long does it take to have an agent on the other side saying hello, making his greeting, So it's desirable to be the less as possible, And I would like to see, for example, the calls that were being attended from the customer, but the customer took so long to have the agent connection, for example. You can see it in real time, And another thing that we can see, we can check here is regarding to the agent attendance. I mean, if the customer attendance were the agent attendance were too much noise on the background, we detect the agent attendance was with too much noise on the background. If the agent attendance was with too much silence, we detect that that it was a silence, for example, a muted attendance, or if there was a human attendance on the agent side, we can detect and report it as well. So it's more than just simply have a greater performance, a greater accuracy, and saving money. You have data to handle your answering machine detections, to handle your dialing operations. You can have the filters to see just the calls that has been resulted as an answering machines over the pre-connect, for example. So you have the PSTN traffic profile. So this is very important because you have the map, you can see per region, you can see per carrier, you can see the average call duration, you can see the traffic, I mean the call attempts per second. You can see the network effectiveness ratio per carrier, And for example, this customer dialed a lot, and this customer got a lot of answering machines that we have detected. So it's very important to have these informations to make the right balancing between the carriers, to make the right setup on the dialing ratio, on the number of agents to be assigned to a specific campaign. You have everything here, every single data, even the call quality. We deliver the real-time reported to be analyzed, and the mini opinion score, the MOS, we deliver it directly on the tool in real time to let you know if you have, for example, an issue with a specific link of a carrier, or an issue with a specific towards a specific which dial server, for example. You can see that in real time. And the hosting and the services. So how can I host the Khomp server? The Khomp stuff. So to host the Khomp, it's very simple. It's basically you are going to choose the best way to host Khomp, or directly on your public cloud, for example, AWS, Oracle, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, or Vultr. We support every the most known and used public cloud platforms. We support the virtual machines as well, like VMware, Hyper-V, Proxmox. You can install directly on a bare metal server as well. You can dedicate a server because the ISO file of the Khomp applications already comes with the Debian 11 64 bits, so it's up to you. But I strongly recommend, for example, if you are an end customer, to contact an integrator, a Khomp integrator, by our email, sales@khomp.com. For example, for here in Latin America, we have IntegraDial. For United States, we have 5 or 6 integrators from VichDial that are recognized partners of VichDial, that are recognized partners of Khomp. In Asia, we have CloudTribe, and other countries, we have some other representatives, integrators that can help you to build the solution, and the integration. And I'm going to show that we are planning to have it on the VichiHost as well, to be provided as a VichDial service as well, the full service from the VichiHost. I'm going to show as well when we are going to arrive to a proof of concept part, because we are able to let you prove the tool, that Smart Carrier United States is ready to provision the dialer and the AMD in less than 15 minutes. It's amazing, directly from their cloud. So the Smart Carrier is a very great partner for us, and they are still shaken provider as well. So there are a lot of ways. We are very, very experienced. There are a lot of ways, a lot of partners that can support, that can help you to have the solution. But regarding to the scalability and the multi-tenant, how to have the scalability? Basically, we have the solution based on the number of concurrent calls, the simultaneous calls. You can have the scalability by processing the media on separated servers from the SIP and management server. So you can have just 1 or 2 management and SIP servers to make the single or high availability deployment for the SIP signaling and the management. and the media units to process the media, because the media are very heavy. The media traffics are very heavy to be processed. So we simply make some different instances. You can have some different instances to process the media traffic and to process the audio. So because sometimes you have to provide, for example, the audio to be analyzed in real time. So it requires a lot of computational resources, and sometimes you have to transcode the media, because the simple fact to transcoding the media will requires a lot of computational resources, because we required to have the G711 codec to be processed and analyzed, you know. And the high traffic support, the solution has a very high traffic support, more than 2000 CPS for a single management and SIP signaling server, and more than 750 CPS per media unit. So you can have a high traffic, burst traffic over the SIP servers and the media servers per instance, And obviously, to connect to carriers, we recommend to have an SBC or directly a safe link from your carriers to the comp part, as you used to have to the Vicidial part. So comp is the comp elements are on the mid part of the Vicidial servers, from the Vicidial servers and the carrier servers. If you usually have the carriers connected directly to the Vicidial servers, now we are going to have the carriers connected to the comp, and comp is going to connect to the Vicidial and the opposite side as well. Basically is this. Simple like that. And obviously, regarding to the Vicidial and comp integration, there is a very great documentation that Matt and Michael did. I will be very sincere that Matt and Michael did it by themselves. They are very skilled on the API integrations. So we just delivered. If you want to integrate with us with API, this is the step by step from Comp, and they made all of this stuff. So this is very important because they made the documentation. The Comp is presented on the Vicidial website, the official Vicidial website. And this is very important because on the documentation, Matt and Michael, they simply describe how it works, how to turn comp, how to configure Vicidial for new patterns, and a lot of great stuffs that can be checked by just accessing the documentation. And this part I will leave with the experts here, because Matt, Michael, please go ahead to explain a little bit more about the integration, because you are the guys. You really are the guys to have it.
Well, thank you very much. The Vicidial code base is actually integrated with the code now, and there's just a flag that you can set in the install.ph or install.pl script to preserve the integration, even if you do an upgrade. So the comp integration is upgrade proof now. It has been for a while, and it's easy to maintain your system and maintain updated Vicidial code along with that. Mike has done most of the integration and testing work, so I'll hand it off to him now.
Yeah, just to touch on something. Previously, there was a lot of patching that was involved in order to get the comp working with Vicidial. So the fact that it's now built into the installer, that was not too recent, but within the last 2 years, wasn't it, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, the way the slide that Igor showed with how it works and stuff like that, there's I've actually been able to simplify it even more. Vicidial basically sends a call to the comp gateway. with a tracking header attached. The Khomp gateway forwards the call onto your carrier and begins doing its analysis on the pre-connect audio, basically normal ringing under normal circumstances, but also disconnects and all the various scenarios that Igor was mentioning previously. When the carrier finally does indicate that the call has answered, Khomp steps in and begins doing its post-connect analysis, which, as Igor mentioned, can take up to 3 seconds, but it cuts off at 3 seconds. As soon as Khomp has come up with a conclusion and a pattern, it sends the call over to the Vicidial server. Vicidial then takes the call and sends it into its routing engine, and in the routing engine, it connects over to the Khomp gateway via its API and pulls in the conclusion and pattern that was determined for that call based off of the tracking ID. Vicidial then does a lookup in its Khomp setting container to determine what to do with that conclusion and pattern. And it can take many actions based off of the different conclusions and patterns. It can either take the AMD action, it can take the CPD unknown action, it can route the call to the agent, it can disposition the call, multiple different things. And as some of those actions can be changed based on a per campaign basis. So that's basically how the integration is working at this point.
And there can be hundreds of responses that you can key these actions upon. That's important to mention, and they can grow over time.
Yep. So
simple like this, and it's supported from some specific versions. This is very important to know. I put here some requirements, some key points, because it's very important to have it. So it's a very safe integration that we have. Let me put here on the slides. It's a very safe integration that we have. So basically it works over the SSL certificate, in that it's required to have the integration because of the security of the informations that are trafficking there. There's no difficult, Michael made a very great job with the step-by-step. It's the same step-by-step, I think, from 2 years ago. Am I right, Michael?
And
Yeah.
we haven't really made any changes to how the integration works at this point. So yeah, it's been stable for at least 2 years.
Yes. And the requirements, basically, there is a version of Vicidial system that is required to have on this, at least on this release. I think it's 35.24. Am I right?
Sounds right. It's been in the code for quite some time. So if you have a recent installation, you shouldn't have to worry about it. If you have an older installation, it's just a matter of upgrading the Vicidial code to get the new code.
And this is a good time to recommend that people update their Vicidial systems frequently for security and bug fixes.
Yes.
Yes, it's very important to keep the systems, updated. Yes, exactly. So, and there is a very, very important thing, can you test it? Yes, we support you to test the integration and every single stuff. And this is a very important thing, how to test the Vicidial integration with Khomp. There are, 3 ways to test. Basically, you can have it, for example, directly with Khomp. If you are a new integrator, for example, for us, and you usually work with Vicidial, you can reach us out and we can make an integration, and we can deploy, we can host the Khomp application and make the integration. And this integration, we recommend the Vicidial support in order to make everything right. There is a partner called Smart Carrier that has it done, because they made the stuff very, very simple. The graphical user interface, they made the AI answering machine detection checkbox here, and all of the magic works happens on the background. So it is very, very, very easy way to test. They are able to test, and provide it, in a matter of 15 minutes. It's very, very, very simple. You can use free of charge for 15 days. In the United States, it's just available for the United States usage. And there is a third way that we are planning to have it provided on the Vici host as well, from our partners here, Matt and Michael, and estimated for the late 2023 directly. And there is a very important question that the customers usually make to us. Is there a limit of calls per channel? Basically, we don't have it, because usually the dialers using between 800 to 1700 calls per channel per day. But our channel is totally free of usage. You can use the channel as much as you can. So basically, we just charge for the simultaneous call, and that's it. It's very simple. Very simple to have it with our integrators. So a channel can handle the quantity of calls you can make, basically. And we have some professional services as well. So we are totally compliant with steer shaken. We have the advanced routing engine mechanism that you can choose, for example, the best route based on the call quality or the network effectiveness ratio from a specific carrier, for example. So we can enable it. We can make the retries overflow based on the SIP calls codes that we receive from the carrier's message. We can randomize the outbound numbers ID according to the number dialed. So this is a very important thing. Maybe if you have a range of numbers, we can randomize based on the trial that you made, And we can make some rules to overflow in a very smart way the calls. And we have our WebRTC click-to-call service to replace the 1-800 services for the inbound if you want. So these are the other services that Khomp can provide to you. And that's it. Do you want to test it in your scenario? Contact me, contact my team here at sales@khomp.com, and the Vicidial team as well. The Vicidial team is ready to help you on any matter that you need. So we have it done here, and I don't know if Michael and Matt have some further considerations.
I think you've covered basically everything.
Yep, that's just what I was going to say.
Yeah, simple like this.
Yep.
Yes, that's good. That's good. That's good.
I will say one of the big things with calling within the United States these days has been maintaining your caller ID's reputation and using the stock answering machine detection that comes with Vicidial, specifically from Asterisk, can have a negative impact on your reputation or your caller ID's reputation, because it is so inaccurate. It is so long to make its determinations. The number of people that you hang up on because it mistook them as an answering machine, the number of people that are just sit there and listen to dead air, those people are blocking your caller IDs. The Khomp solution is much faster, much more accurate. You are less likely to treat people the wrong way that you don't want them to be treated, and you're giving your agents more of an opportunity to speak to the customer and give a good first impression right away. That it is such a better solution for answering machine detection in comparison to the stock Asterisk one. It is at the point when you're calling within the United States, we don't recommend using the stock answering machine detection at all, because you are just going to ruin your caller ID reputation and have problems connecting with your customers just in general. You'll have more problem calls, more issues. And that's all because of the robocall mitigation that has been mandated by law within the United States. So that is about the only thing I can add to this conversation.
We do have a question about codec compatibility, G729. Can somebody comment on that?
I can comment.
Yeah.
It's a very welcome question. Because let me go back to the slide in order to help to present, because this is a very, very important question, Martin, and I thank you for the question. This is it's a great thing. When you have, for example, some different carriers patterns and some different codecs, you can remember that the AMD server at Comp, it can resolve the codec compatibility. So, for example, if you have a G729 and we have to transcode to G711 to make the call analysis for the AMD, the comp solves it to you. There's no need to ask for the carrier to change the codec. No, we can transcode the G729, the G722, the Opus even, so we can solve it very quickly. So in an easy way. And regarding to the SIP standards, the other part of the SIP standards, I mean the SIP headers and so on, we simply the AMD already comes with the part to solve the SIP headers. So we have an advanced routing engine mechanism embedded on the AMD, better saying like this, in order to solve any issue regarding to the compatibility. We are compatible with every single carrier that you need. We have it in more than 50 countries, including in EMEA and Philippines, India, and there's no issue with any carrier that we face in there. That's it.
Very good.
No problems.
Let's see. Martin also asks, how many comp servers would be required to handle 100,000 to 200,000 calls per day?
Yeah, it's a great question as well. It depends on the number of channels, but for this amount of calls, supposedly you are going to have like 200 to 400 channels. For 200 to 400 channels, just one server is enough. And the same server will process the media and the SIP signaling and the management. The same server. And it's a very simple server. You can host it, for example, on Proxmox or VMware or something like this with just 2 vCPUs, 4 gigs of RAM memory, and 8 gigs of hard disk, and that's it. Or even you can host directly on a public cloud like Vultr or AWS with the same requirements. It's a very cheap machine to maintain. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, that translates into roughly 400 calls per minute. Probably less than that concurrent, depending upon your quality of your list. But that is an important thing to bring up, is that concurrency is the real measurement that is needed, not number of calls per day, not number of calls per hour. And some call centers have very small peak times. Like we've had a client that had overlapping agent shifts where 90% of the time they were up and running, they were operating at literally half capacity, and then they had an hour or two during the day when the system was very heavily taxed. And that is what you need to scale for with something like Comp, not your average usage or your total daily usage, but your concurrency, your maximum concurrent channels.
Yeah, it's very simple. And if you want to know more about or let us know more about your operations, Martin, you can write to sales@comp.com, and our team is able to answer you. And maybe we can go to a proof of concept, and that's it. And we recycle data, and Comp could help us maximize our productivity for sure. Yes, it's one of our main interests is helping on this. Yes.
Okay.
And if you have any other questions, we are here. I don't know if you have.
I think that's it.
That's it. And we are here. We are known. Go away and nevermore. No, we are here, so you can contact us. Contact me, igor@khomp.com or sales@khomp.com. Michael and Matt, I think you know. So they are available as well in order to help. We can work together for your projects. Okay. Okay. Right. Matt, Michael, thank you a lot for joining the meeting. And Michael Henderson, Martin, Alex, I think Kristen is here, and everyone here, Erin. So everyone, Ryan, thank you for joining the meeting conferencing. And we are going to make it available on the YouTube channel, the Comp International channel on the YouTube. Let's share the information. Let's work together. Okay, let's enhance the community, and work together with one of the best predictive dialers in the world. We are very proud of it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate. See you.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.